The inner journey is a mystery, so we lean into the exploration with a sense of experimentation, of playfulness, of openness, trusting we have the answers inside of us. Valeria interviews Dr. Loi. She is a somatic psychologist, coach, midlife midwife, mother, workshop presenter, guided meditation leader, and ecstatic dance facilitator. Dr. Loi integrates her years of clinical training with her movement and awareness-based practices, grounding them into connection with the earth to facilitate a deeper understanding of presence, embodiment, and reverence. Dr. Loi has a background in the nonprofit world, founding the Single Parent Resource Network in Austin, Texas, has worked in radio, co-produced newspapers and music festivals, and owned an event production company. Her clinical work began in 2005 when she began graduate school as a single mother after an almost 10-year break from school. She has worked with preschool-age victims of trauma and neglect in low-income clinics that offer depth therapy, in a college counseling center, with couples, those mandated to attend domestic violence batterer groups. Her CRP was entitled The Role of Empathy in the Domestic Violence Treatment of Male Batterers, through a feminist theory lens, and she graduated in 2011. She was licensed in 2014 after 3 years of postdoctoral training in a private practice neuropsychology clinic, where she offered neurocognitive assessments and treatment after TBI, traumatic brain injury. Dr. Loi currently is in private practice, seeing individuals and couples throughout California for therapies and intensives, via teletherapy and in person with a collaborative, holistic approach. She incorporates somatic, ketamine-assisted-psychotherapy, mindfulness, parts therapy, CBT, neuropsychology, Brainspotting certified, and energy psychology grounded in a psychodynamic, depth-oriented framework. She specializes in affect regulation, anger management, anxiety reduction, integrating transformational experiences, prenatal, postpartum, parenting issues, midlife and menopause, with a focus on empowering clients and encouraging their connection to themselves, others, and the earth. She occasionally offers workshops and trainings and hosts Ecstatic Dance Sebastopol since 2014, often offering the closing sound baths and meditations. Through her own journey of healing from physical and emotional oversensitivities, she learned how to manage these overwhelming states and teaches this to others. More recently, after a TBI forced her to stop business as usual, she created a program to assist women in midlife learn how to slow down and reconnect to their inner wisdom. Dr. Loi educates and empowers her clients with practical strategies and guides them to a place of greater coherence and vibrancy. She believes that we are born wise and can relearn how to live with ease and pleasure. She offers these clinical, spiritual, and heart-based practices to assist humans in healing, reconnecting, and awakening to the joy of being. Meet Dr. Loi at drloi.com. Here is the interview with Dr. Loi.
Aloha, everyone. This is another A Quest for Wellbeing conversation, and my guest today is the lovely Dr. Loi Medvin. She is a somatic psychologist, coach, midlife midwife, mother, workshop presenter, guided meditation leader, and ecstatic dance facilitator. And a speaker, I have to add. I usually add that too. If you spoke with me once on the podcast, then you are a speaker officially now. So this is it's really beautiful what you do, and curious too. I have a lot of questions to ask from the get-go already about somatic psychology. But before that, this is my brief introduction to you, Loi. Is that okay to call you Loi? I usually don't use labels. I usually don't.
Sure.
Use. Thank you. So
Sure,
how would you
that's
introduce
fine.
yourself? Who is Loi in this very moment?
Let's see. Well, I am a human being. I am present in the moment. I am a connector, a community organizer, a dancer. I am an enjoyer of life. and a compassionate human. Yeah.
Yes to all of it. I love the dance part. It sounds so much fun. I know I never went to one. They have Ecstatic Dance here on Kauai, and I was invited to, but I never went there. I'm waiting for my husband, I guess, to say yes to it before we go together. But what inspired you? How did you get here? How did you get to be the expression of you that I'm listening today, that I'm in contact today?
Gosh, that's a great question, but also a very broad question.
Right.
So let's see. I think that it's been a natural unfolding, and that through all of my experiences in my life, I have been uncovering the truth of who I am. So I'm able to show up now in a much more authentic way than I used to.
Oh, I love that. So is authenticity connected to being natural? And what is to be natural?
Yeah. I mean, for me, being authentic it's manyfold, but it starts with having an understanding and being really connected to what's happening inside my body. And, the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings, memories, my perception, all of those things inform how I show up in the moment. And the more that I'm out of my thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, the more I can just allow myself to be, whether it's in a flow state or just present in the moment, then I can be authentic. It's a state of being more integrated as well.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, I have so many questions. All the questions when you say that. Is that how you would describe your work as a somatic psychologist? Is that the goal of that role you play, to help others to
My
integrate themselves?
Yeah, to let's see, my my role, I guess, would be a guide and a collaborator
Yeah.
with my clients, and it's helping them get in touch with the sensations, the present moment, their authentic selves, and that is about integrating all their different parts and their experiences, and really being able to listen to those inner voices, to be able to trust themselves. The little voices that come up, they're intuitive hits.
Right.
It's being able to listen and understand them, and then act from that place.
Right. Wow. It's a beautiful work, though, and it feels like to me like a work that it's done throughout a lifetime. I have learned so much every day. I kind of learn, and I try to understand with the mind, of course, with reason, because reason matters. But when you say living from, a lot of people call the headspace, living in our minds. You actually mentioned that too here. So now more than ever, it's coming to me that there is such a thing as hard thinking, when thoughts are coming from your heart. And I'm trying to really kind of put that together in a way of reasoning, like what does it mean really to live from my body, my intuition, from my heart space. So I have my own ideas here and experiences, but I would love to hear from you. Is that is that one in the same, all these things, intuition, heart wisdom, and embodiment, integration?
Well, the way that I think about them is they're definitely connected. So the heart and also the gut, those are referred to as like second and third brains, because they release chemicals into your body. They release neurotransmitters. They're there's many neurons that go back and forth. And so they can inform what we do and how we act if we know how to listen. I would say being embodied is being in touch with all of that and your physical body, really being able to feel into and be attuned to sensation and movement and anything that you might sense in the body, being able to move from that place.
Yes. What would be the I don't want to say the word the goal, the destination, but what are we looking for from those different spaces, if they are different spaces? Like I think about the heart wisdom, it always guides me to, as an example, to love, to be compassionate, to be kind, to basically to everyone and everything, the earth, other people, animals, everything. So it feels to me like it's coming from that, this beautiful understanding that's very warm, that everything is connected, everything's sacred. And then it's the embodiment of that, the expression of that would be treating everything with respect and kindness. And then embodiment, the way you speak about the gut, like it feels more like for safety. Is that that's my question. What would be the let's say the goal of that? What is it trying to do to keep us safe?
The goal of the gut?
That gut, wisdom, feeling.
Well, I mean, just as an aside, 95% of the serotonin that your body produces is produced in the gut, and 50% of your dopamine. And so that really influences how you act. Right. But certainly, I think people experience safety in different ways and in different parts of their body. Often, say grief, people will feel a lot in their chest.
Right.
Anger, can be further down. But sometimes that shifts for people. Yeah. Certainly people, I mean, there's a saying, right? That gut sense, and you can feel it. And when you're relaxed, then your gut does soften and it does expand. In fact, your whole body kind of softens and expands.
Right. And that's true. So it's not just safety. From what I hear from you, if I interpret it correctly or in my own way. So it's that we need that too. So it's almost like this, again, the ecosystem of the bodies. Everything needs to come together in harmony. It's not just one thing over the other, as you call it, integration. So is that I call it harmony, balance, but it's the same thing, isn't it, Loi?
Yeah, coherence. We're such separatists in this in our culture, and in California, but also in the United States and the Western world. It's very much about the individual, and yet not only do we need all parts of ourselves to work together, but we really need each other in the community, and we need to work with the earth as well.
Yes, beautiful. And you do mention that. I saw that when you sent it to me, the topic is healing through connection. Dr. Loi on awakening the joy of being by slowing down and honoring yourself, others, and the earth. So that's that's quite straightforward. It's very straightforward, that message. I love the website. I was looking at it and I saw your core values. They caught my attention. Yeah, the right relationship, compassion, connection, authenticity, curiosity, and collaboration. What's not to love about that? The body relaxes when I kind of contemplate these things. I'm very devotional in that sense. Anything that feels like aligned with the this concept of wholeness, everything coming together, working as one. There's something about that opens the heart. And then something else that I loved, I think, was curiosity. That really caught my attention. The way you say it, you said it.
Yeah.
You say it. You say the inner journey is a mystery. So we lean into the exploration with a sense of experimentation, of
Yes.
playfulness, of openness, trusting we have the answers inside of us. Oh, I love that. It just resonates so true to me. All of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with all of my clients, I really encourage that, because when you come from that place of curiosity and openness and playfulness, it's like, then you just notice, and then you have wonder, and things aren't so heavy. And not only are they not so heavy, but then you're not stuck in it.
Right.
That's the great thing about mindfulness. Then you're like, oh, look
Yeah.
at, wow, I got really angry, or I'm feeling really angry right now.
Yeah.
And then you have more room and more spaciousness. And then maybe you can choose to do something else, or maybe you just notice or breathe, or,
Mm.
and even, like, I often give homeworks
Yeah.
to my clients, depending on, whatever we've worked on in the session. Although later on, I have my clients choose their own, whatever's appropriate. And even in that, I will often say, think of it as an experiment.
Yeah.
You try this out. What does it feel like to go through the day with your shoulders back and down, and just notice how you feel and how other people react, something like that.
Yes, that's it. It's such a precious foundation, isn't it, Loi?
Mhm.
Curiosity. And then when
Yeah.
we look into the exploration, those words, they just, I love for some reason, mystery just calls my attention too, because I'm very much into mysticism, which has to do with experience. Whatever I know, it's from my experience. So there's something about that. But also there are many things that we don't know. We cannot even express those things with
Yeah.
words. So that's the mystery, right? We don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, you know, continuing on with curiosity,
Yeah.
it's like you can bring that into your relationships. Someone
Yeah.
does something, you could imagine, why,
Yeah.
and maybe you do, but maybe you don't. And
Mm,
so you can
right.
ask. You can hold that space, which is hard to be in, that space of not knowing. But if you
Mm,
can kind of hold that space
yeah.
and then move from there,
Yeah. Oh, I
or
love that too.
yeah, or potentially think, instead of that they mean you harm, that maybe they wish you well. And
Mm,
how does that change how you are in your body, how you show up, how you interact?
wow, what a beautiful suggestion and reflection. Thank you. Oh, I want to mention. So that's one of the things that you do. Oh, isn't it coaching? Oh, yeah, relationships. So you do, you're a therapist. So your service is therapy, coaching, individual and relationship coaching.
Mhm.
That is so wonderful and so needed. I have to say, we all
Yeah.
need some help
Yeah,
in this.
we do. We
That's
do.
good.
And, in terms of relationships, first of all, you have to start with yourself, because you're in relationship with yourself. And how do you treat yourself?
Mm.
That's where it all begins.
Yes, yes. Gosh, yes, a billion times to that truth.
Hmm.
So when I, so when I read all this, because I'm reading now, I made all these notes here. But I'm
Hmm.
kind of holding on to the experience, what it felt like when I came across like your website, the information
Yeah.
about you, and it felt very expanded, like this expansion, yeah,
Yeah.
expanded, and it usually feels that way when I come across anything that is about healing and spirituality. So usually it happens almost like magic. Even if I'm going through something, whatever it is, that's not so expensive, then when I come across this information as knowledge or information only, just reading them, something happens to the body and then it changes
Mhm.
everything, that frequency. So
Yeah. That's
Is that
body wisdom right there, right?
body wisdom?
That's
That's what it is, right?
uh-huh. That's alignment. It's
Mm,
something that feels resonant with you. And so that
right.
that also feels safe. And so your body can
Yes.
relax and expand.
Mm. So body wisdom. So and that
Hmm.
is alignment, right, Lloyd? That's that
Yeah.
is that what it is? Like feels like everything. Yeah, it feels like, oh, this is the right place to be. This is everything comes together again. It feels whole again and harmonious. So
Hmm.
that's what it is. Body wisdom, you call it. I call heart wisdom, but it's
Mm.
connected to body wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
They're not really separate.
right,
It's all part, even the brain is part of the body, but of course we like to think of things, which is what the brain does, is it categorizes and labels and makes sense. And it's an important part,
right.
and it's a part of the
Yeah.
whole.
Oh, I love the way you said is a part. Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
the whole, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, it's
mm,
like the work that I do, I have come to be a somatic psychologist. And I mean, I have had training in it, but it's mostly because I have evolved from where I started. Was
yeah,
very much about the brain and early childhood experiences, and the intersection of neuroscience. And then gradually there's been an evolving into how I practice now.
right. Oh, and what a necessary evolution. Somatic
Yeah.
psychology, because usually we think of psychology. It's very much focused on the mind, and it
Mhm.
usually stays there with
Yeah.
conversations, but it's not somatic. Do you also? I know because you dance, you are a static dance facilitator. Is that a
Mhm.
suggestion that you make to some of your clients to kind of move more and do massage? Massages are amazing, though. I actually got to get one done. Yes, that's that's
Yeah. Certainly, well, we store traumas in our bodies. And so it is important to feel in and explore from there. And sometimes, I mean, I never say, oh, you need to go to an ecstatic dance.
right.
But but
Yes.
I, yeah, um, even if I might think it. But
Yes.
I certainly, I will sometimes in the session suggest that someone get up and shake if they're having a lot of energy. Just
Right.
shaking the body can really move things. Um, I also share lots of information with my clients, and what they do with that information is up to them. But
Yeah.
sometimes I might have them, if they feel like they're like, oh, I feel so contracted, like I want to curl up, then I might suggest that they actually do that motion in the session or at home, or that they
Right.
do movement, because it's a great way to, if you do it this way, to allow yourself to really feel what's there and to move it.
Right. So it's about moving, right? Moving. Some people speak of moving energies. Is that what it is? Moving. And I even thought about the word remove in a sense of kind of trying to remove a pain, whatever it is, a discomfort in the body, is actually removing kind of this movement of relocating or kind of almost like dancing with energies. Is that I'm wondering
Mm.
if my assessment, if my observation has some ground. In my own experience, it does, but I'm wondering if that resonates with you
Mhm.
somehow.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're energetic beings. We're made up of tiny particles of energy,
Right.
right? And so things get contracted and stuck. And so if you can move them, whether it's something sore in your body or a
Mm,
tight area, through massage or through dance or body rolling or whatever it is,
yeah.
then you can allow for the flow of energy to move more freely, and whatever's been stuck in there to, as you said, be removed, to
Yes.
shift out.
I know I've been experimenting with that, and I try to do what I've been experimenting with. Just was about 2 weeks ago. I was really trying almost every day, and then I kind of gave up in a way. Kind of trying to roll over, do something with the body that I never done before, and I noticed that there's a lot to do with the nervous system and trust. So the body's not trusting something, and that's why it's not making that the movement happen. I'm wondering if that, yeah, is that something that, yeah, I would love to hear from you. Again, is my observation
Yeah.
somehow, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, certainly, when something doesn't feel safe, when there's fear,
yeah,
a lot of things happen in the body. And one of them is a tightening up of many things, but certainly your tissues, your
mm,
ligaments, the even sometimes the joints
right,
after many, many years of holding in certain patterns. And,
uh,
and we do that, we brace ourselves, right?
yeah,
If we don't
yeah,
feel safe. And
right,
that's a protective mechanism. And we do that energetically, we do that physically, mentally, emotionally, and in all the ways we kind of tighten up. And even, I'm kind of jumping, but even our defenses
mm,
are are
yeah,
set up to protect us.
yes,
And so they help us to a certain extent, and then usually they don't anymore, right?
right,
And how that manifests in the body is that then your hip might really start to hurt, and you can't move it as well, and your body isn't as fluid because you've been tightening up and holding it.
wow, this is so amazing for everyone to listen
Yeah,
to and take note in a way, or kind of reflect on and start thinking more about it. Um,
yeah.
so
It,
even
and
stretching, isn't it? Like a simple stretch, I noticed now. It's like, wait a minute, it's
yeah,
not, the body's not doing this. Why? It's kind of
yeah. And
hesitant.
I would say if you slow down and you
Mm,
breathe into it and you feel into it,
right.
then that can be the start of at least a little exploration and understanding. And sometimes if there's trauma stored there, you're not going to get very far unless you can
Mm,
allow it to unwind in a space that feels safe enough for you.
wow. It always goes back to that feeling safe. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Mm,
hard. I mean, there are ways you can feel pleasure even if you don't feel safe, but
mm.
it's much easier if you can soften and relax and allow that to come through.
Right. Oh, wow. That's a big one, especially for women, I guess, because we've been
Mhm.
taught, right, so many ways to be there for others and not care for ourselves. And so
Mhm.
we kind of look good in society and through the eyes
Oh yeah.
of our family members too.
Yeah, culturally
Mm,
we're trained from an early age,
yeah.
especially I would say as women identified that we have to give and do for others. And it that's part of the reason, I often work with women in midlife who have some kind of health crisis because they've been doing and pushing, and um, and they have to really slow down and tune into themselves and learn to have boundaries and learn
Mm,
to really listen to what's happening inside. That's something that around perimenopause and menopause that actually happens when you're no longer as driven by your hormones
right.
to help the estrogen is maybe a little lower, so you're not as externally motivated in that way. And women often change how they act and their marriages and the way they behave in the world, even the way they think. It's big.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's good to hear. I have heard that before, and I'm trying to be more to pay attention to it because I'm 48 and I already
Mhm.
feel some of those symptoms, some of those signs. One of the things that it's coming to me, and I don't know if it might be coming from fear, it's that I feel like, wow, am I going to be less feminine when my menstruation is gone? Because I will miss it
Mm,
in a way. Because I really loved the way it actually softened me a lot more every
yeah.
time, every month, like before. I mean, it was just very also kind of helped me to be more truthful. So I would just always say the truth. My husband he was not so happy about it. Not a
Mhm.
lot of people are, but is that is that something to be a concern in the sense of losing when I no longer have the period that I'll be less feminine?
Well, I'm not quite there, but from what I've seen, I think it depends on your definition of feminine. So if your
Mm,
definition of feminine is
mm,
subservient, then maybe. Um,
uh,
but but really, it's a process where if you do learn to slow down and listen to yourself,
yeah.
then there's um, uh, there's less worry or concern about saying the truth or coming
Mm,
across as a certain way. You don't care as much.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I thank you for saying that because, yes, that makes a lot of sense. Coming from Brazil, the way I have been raised, yeah,
Hmm.
that has been very much, oh, I'll do it for you. And I always do it. You come first. And then I used to do that in my relationships at a
Hmm.
very high price. Yeah, because I got myself
Yeah.
in trouble in so many ways by doing that. And now it's feeling much better with the period that's still here. So that's progress, I would say. Wow, why does it take so long? I wonder, for us to learn this basic, feels like a basic lesson, right? A
You
basic
would,
experience to
yeah,
have.
you would think. But
Yeah.
but I mean, boundaries, it's a huge thing, and we're not really taught that. Like I mentioned earlier, culturally,
Right.
and not even just this culture, right? And
Yeah,
in
it's everywhere.
cultures, we're
Mm.
taught to just um, not put our needs first, and
Mm. Yeah,
it's not in a selfish way.
yeah.
It's more like you have to know what you need. It's
Mhm.
not filling your own cup first or
Right,
putting your own mask on first in the airplane. Um,
right.
and eventually it comes down to if you don't do that, then what I've seen is that many, especially women, get a health crisis that
Mm.
forces them to stop. That's what happened to me.
Yeah,
And so that's part of the work that I do is helping people to learn how to slow down before something like that happens.
right. So the key is slowing down, right?
Yeah,
Slowing
yeah,
down.
and tuning in.
Yeah. Which
Mhm.
means listening. Is that listening to our own
Yeah.
intuition, our own selves? Yeah. To our
Mhm.
needs. Um,
Yeah.
Gosh, what is a good example of that? I wonder if we can put this in a little bit of a story context. Yeah, I would love that. Do you have one personal or from a client without saying their
Um,
names?
yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, I can use myself as an example.
Yeah.
I have been a big community organizer and get involved with things and then end up co-running them. And my tendency was to do and to give to people, and that was part of my identity.
Yeah.
And then multiple times I would get sick that would force me to slow down, but I didn't
Mm,
really listen.
right.
And it wasn't until I had a pretty serious brain injury that forced me to
Yeah.
stop
Right.
that then I had to kind of redo how I related in the world.
Yeah.
And and my brain would physically hurt if
Mm,
I did too much.
wow.
And so
Yeah.
it's like it trained me, you know. So that's how I was able to break my pattern. I still see it come out a little bit, but I take lots of time to rest and to really check in with myself. And if I don't feel like this event is right for me or something doesn't feel in my body, maybe I feel a little sick, I stay home.
Yeah.
And, and I encourage my friends, I encourage my clients to do the same, to really try and check in with themselves. There's the saying, the body doesn't lie.
Right.
But sometimes when we've had traumas, especially, then our body does give us, it kind of generalizes, and it might, you might feel really anxious about something and think, oh, this isn't something I should do, when it's actually connected to something that happened in your past and really isn't about the present. And so it is important to be able to work on, the traumas that have been stuck in your bodies, and the way that the your thinking has shifted, and the chemicals that arise in your body then come out. Before we started, we were talking about anxiety and nervousness and excitement, and how in the body it's pretty much the same chemicals, and yet, you can put it on the label of, oh, I'm feeling really anxious, I'm nervous, this is fear-based. Or I could say, well, I'm really excited.
Yes. Oh, wow. This is such a great reference for the understanding of feelings and emotions. And I have asked the question here many times because I interview so many psychologists, therapists, coaches, and you name it. And I remember being very curious about that. What is the difference between feelings and emotions? And the answer that really resonates with me the most, with my own experience, is that feelings are just natural sensations in the body, and then emotions are the interpretation of those feelings that could be connected to trauma. Is that I wonder if that's something that resonates with you?
Yeah, I think that's a really good definition. I mean, people use feeling and emotion interchangeably. Because I do somatic work with my clients, I have to often say, what is the feeling, the physical sensation in the body?
Yeah.
And that's a way to differentiate between the two.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad. I think somebody, you said that, because I remember asking somebody else and she said the same thing. Yeah, she was very clear about that too. And that's something that for some reason, from my own experience, it resonates true. That feelings are sensations, only sensations, they are happening here now. And then we have the interpretation of those sensations. And that could be coming from the moment, what's happening, or from the past. So that's something to be aware of. And what would be a good example of that, Loi? I'm wondering, when it's coming from trauma, and how do we know the difference?
Yeah, sometimes it can be really difficult to know the difference. The more you work on the traumas, and whether through therapy or whatever means you do it, the clearer you can get. The more mindfulness you bring to it, then you can understand. But we're always interpreting our present experiences through the lens of our past experiences.
True.
But again, the more mindfulness you can bring to it, then you can have an understanding that maybe you have a propensity, because of some trauma that you had in the past, that you're a little more fearful. So then if you keep that in mind, you might be able to have a little spaciousness in the situation, or if you've really worked to calm down your nervous system, then you might be able to show up and have less of those filters.
Right. Yes. So that's why you keep going back to that slowing down. I remember as the foundation, I remember interviewing a psychiatrist, Dr. Michael Binder, his name. And he said exactly that. He wrote a book, and he's very spiritual too. So he's like a psychiatrist and a spiritual teacher. So he never really prescribes medications, like strong ones, before he tries something natural to calm down the brain. And his theory is that, from his own observations, again, from experimenting with his clients, his patients, he really came to this conclusion that it's if I can calm their brain enough, then I'll know the truth, what's happening under. And I don't know, I think that's why I'm speaking of him now, because your approach and your message is very much connected to his slowing
Yeah.
down, calming
Yeah.
down.
I mean, I would say, calm down the brain, but also the body. I mean, the rest of the body it's important. It's funny, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a doctor of psychology. And one of the things I used to say, kind of tongue in cheek, but also meaning it, is that I don't prescribe medication, I prescribe meditation.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, that's it. Yeah. And there's even a book. I don't know if you came across that book, Meditation or Medication? There's a question mark. There's a book title. Somebody wrote something about that. When do we know, when we need one or the other? So it goes back to self-knowledge, self-observation, self-knowing, right? How beautiful that work.
Yeah. I mean, and, sometimes medication is necessary and helpful. And, I work with people with ketamine-assisted therapy. And so I'm definitely not opposed to medications. And also there are many ways that you can use the systems of the body to unwind and to regulate in conjunction or without.
Right. Yes. So it could be this a combined kind of approach, right, if needed. But what I really love about it is that the approach, this idea that we can become more aware of what's happening within our bodies. We are the only ones who really know anyway. If we are paying attention, then we have more autonomy in the sense of choosing, right? What to take and all that. We don't leave that in the hands of, especially in the hands of medical doctors or people who prescribe medications, because that's what they do. They don't really know your body. They don't really know you. And that's all they know from their education. To when something matches the symptom, they would just prescribe something. So I love the idea of just being self-aware and self-knowledgeable.
Yeah, you bring up also a really good point in that if you're able to have conscious awareness in the moment, then you have more choice. Because until you bring that awareness to the present and what you're doing and what you're feeling and sensing, then you're just going to do the same patterns that you've always done. It's the way the brain likes to function. It's the way our bodies move through the world. Right. There's a lot just what we've always done and the same old patterns. But when you are aware in the moment, then there's the possibility for choice and choosing a new action or behavior or way of thinking.
Yes, and that has to do again with the slowing down, so we are more present. Wow, it always goes back to that. I love the message as a reminder too, because we do have the tendency to speed up when we can just slow down to speed up. There is something you said kind of caught my attention here too. Oh yeah, that we are always actually coming from the reference. The brain is always referencing the past, so that's always the guiding principle, right? That's always the direction, the orientation. So, and then you mentioned that this is already the past. So the present, what we think is the present, is the past already. So we are never in the present in a way. I mean, how can we? Isn't it funny?
Right. Because the brain is making sense of all the information that's coming in. And it's using the filters of what's already happened in order to do that. Yeah. But, we can feel like we're in the present. And in fact, the less we're thinking about, the more present we are. But even that is, maybe a couple seconds, I guess, in the past.
Wow, that's kind of revolutionary in that sense. If we can gosh, that we can be. That means being in the present, we lose all references of past or expectations, or even the sense of imagination, because there's no projection of anything. So there's no. I'm wondering what remains. Like from all my meditations, it remains a really powerful, bodily felt sense of peace. It's very peaceful, as if everything's perfect exactly as it is. And then joy arises. That's
Yeah.
really what happens to me.
Yeah. And that's, I mean,
Mm,
that's
yeah.
part of why, I call it my slogan or logo, you know, my
Yeah.
Instagram, awaken the joy of being.
Right.
It's all about
Right.
that. It's kind of doing the work, sort
Right.
of almost like, you know, the lily, the lily
Mm,
pad kind of comes up through the muck and then rises to the top. It's
yeah.
like, and blooms. It's like coming through that out into this place of being in that present moment when you're not thinking about so
Mm,
much what has happened before or what's to come,
mm,
where you're in more of a flow state when your brain, especially the prefrontal cortex, isn't so engaged and critical and thinking and, you know,
yeah.
planning, but you're just moving, or if you're meditating, you're just in that space.
Yes, that's it. That's I was about to have here highlighted very big, awakening the joy of being. That is just yeah, that was one of the first things that caught my attention immediately, because it felt true just by looking at it and saying it with using the words and listening to the words. It just, the body says yes to it somehow. I can feel it.
Yeah.
So, wow, the flow state. So this is something that has been explored for, it's an ancient wisdom, as so many of us know, the Tao Te Ching. So Taoism, it's all about that. I do Qigong and Tai Chi, so I know the power of that too. So even though I'm moving, doing all these things, there's something that doesn't change, it doesn't move, that's always there. And I even woke up today kind of, is he thinking, that's why we're in the world of thinking, but reflecting, I would say, about, oh, there's something here, there's a new day, feels like a new day, new brand new day, but there's something that never changed, that's exactly the same. And a lot of people report that, and I have experienced that too. There's something that doesn't change, that's not coming and going, that it's not past the future. And maybe that's, we're all talking about one thing, the same thing. And that's a very profound and spiritual concept, that there's
Mm.
something here within us that doesn't change, that's timeless,
Mm.
infinite.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
is that the same? Is that something that do you think in these terms, like spiritual terms too? Do you interpret
Um,
things?
yeah, yeah.
The joy.
Certainly. I mean, I have the cognitive part and the physical part, the somatic, and these different ways of thinking. But certainly, there's a deep sense of spirituality that I would say informs the way that I show up in the world and the ways that I practice. And
Right.
and that is something that feels constant, that
Mm,
feels the same, you know.
yes. And Lloyd, even in order, well, I studied Vedanta for a long time, and I still do. Advaita Vedanta, it's a non-dualist philosophy.
Yeah.
Hindu. It's coming from Hinduism, but it's based on the Upanishads. So it's quite profound, and they talk a lot about that. We wouldn't be able to observe and notice what changes if we are not coming from that which doesn't change. That's
Yeah.
totally still and quiet. So it sees all
Mhm.
movements. Even the body, we see that the body changes all the time, that we have changed our way of thinking throughout our lifetime up to now. and all the changes in the world, in nature. That's the natural world. And the body and the mind, they are part of the natural world. But there's something
Mm-hmm.
here that's not from this world, that is the spiritual being, the infinite part of us, that it remains the same. And that's what we are. And that's why we have this feeling, this sensing that there's a lot of changes going on, but that's because we are actually coming from a very, it's completely still place. That's totally
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And in the work that I do with my clients, sometimes we might refer to that as like the authentic self or the wise self,
Yeah.
like that part of you that just knows, that is connected.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we don't talk a lot about the authentic self, the true self. We don't describe that as something that doesn't change, that it's always completely perfect, completely quiet. We don't think it that way for some reason. We don't describe it that way. But it
Right.
feels to me like, and it's not even a feeling because it's not an experience. It's that which observes experience, that notices
Mm-hmm.
experience. Isn't it funny? It's almost like in a
That which is.
dream. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
can only dream if we are completely, we fall asleep, right? We have to be completely quiet, completely relaxed in order to dream, to observe that movement in the mind. So it's kind of very similar to that experience of sleeping. Even Vedanta, they mention that a lot.
Mm.
Anyway, wow. I love, what can I say? I just love these conversations. We're almost at the end. And I know I had
Yeah.
so many questions to ask you here about your work. And I usually kind of go with this flow of what it's here. And I don't, and you did send me some guided questions. And hopefully we tapped into most of it. Let me see if we did. Slowing down is the key. I have one of those. Yeah, it's your
Mm-hmm.
approach. Your work emphasizing connection and honoring the natural world. Oh, yes, of course. And that's another beautiful part of it. So, in a way,
Yeah.
we are already there, if we can come from that perspective as a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
concept, already perfect. But then we are able to see what's imperfect and make improvements, almost like
Yeah.
as in a dream reality. Making that dream even better than, as best as it could be. I think that's how usually I think about it. If we are dreaming, so let's make this dream a much beautiful one instead of the other way
Yeah.
around.
Well, in honoring ourselves and others and the earth, that's kind of bringing in that into right relationship,
Mm.
and that's what I mean by right relationship. I think that's one of my core values, core beliefs, and also was on the list. I think there was a lot that we didn't get to, but I loved our conversation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for being open
Mm.
to these kind of spontaneous. I do try to follow the and stay within conversations, but sometimes it goes completely kind of out of it. So most of my guests they come from that place too of openness. So we kind of dance with whatever is here. So thank you so much for
Hmm.
being open. And I'm
Yeah.
seeing here the topics that we had. So it's slowing down, and then as I mentioned, and then self-awareness you mentioned, and self-compassion, which we talked about.
Hmm.
The deep embodiment. No. You said awareness, practice, movement, neurobiology to facilitate deeper embodiment and joy. So you combine all that,
Yeah.
which is truly beautiful. Awareness, practices, movement, and neurobiology to facilitate what we've been talking about. And
Hmm.
then we didn't talk about the shadow play. That's something we didn't talk about. You have a term. Yeah. Yeah. Can you briefly describe what that is, Lloyd?
Sure. Sure. Well, so the shadow, most people kind of know what that is, but it's the repressed, hidden, denied aspects of ourselves, and most people label those as bad or scary.
Right.
The things that we have done that we don't think is that are
Mm,
worthwhile to show in the light, I would say.
right.
So, like lots of anger and anything you might try and hide,
Yeah.
that's can be part of the shadow. And for me, what I believe and what I share, what I teach is that it's not a negative thing. Like anger itself is not negative at all. Anger and whatever is in the shadow often arises, I'll just speak to anger right now, but that arises generally as it's a healthy response when your boundaries have been transgressed.
Yeah.
And anger, when channeled, it gives you energy.
Yeah.
But most of the time we try and repress it and then we explode. And so what happens with the shadow stuff is that we hide it away, we maybe try and put it into something else, pretend it's not there, deny it.
Right.
And they always come out in ways maybe we don't like.
Right.
So instead of
Right.
doing that, it's shining a light in there. It's exploring, it's going into that anger and feeling it in your body and moving it, exploring it, maybe writing or whatever ways we can explore. Sometimes moving into those liminal kind of unconscious spaces. And that's what I mean by playing, is like not holding it in such a heavy way that, oh, this is bad and
Yeah.
to push it away, but instead invite it in for exploration, for to dance with it,
Yeah.
to channel it, to move with it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Another beautiful, piece of wisdom I call timeless wisdom. Yes,
Mm.
that not pushing away feelings of any kind. That's key to it.
Yeah.
Another thing, in the dance, in the sense of being curious, right? More playful with feelings.
Exactly. The playfulness is such a big part of the exploration, and it's not weighing you down as much, And
Yeah.
when you don't label it like, oh, this is such a bad thing, it's negative, it's low vibration.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those because they just, they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
are. And it's the sense you
Uh,
make of it, it's how you move through it, it's what you do with it. That's the
mm.
important.
Wow, I love that. That's so wise. Yeah, thank you for sharing that too. You're
Yeah,
just
thank you.
wise in every way since the
Ah,
beginning of our
thanks.
conversation, off record, and all the way. Thank you. I want to mention your
Mm,
services, therapy, coaching, and then the question that you actually have on your website. What is the difference? I think I should
yeah.
just ask you. Yeah, I'll just pause here for that answer.
Sure, sure. The difference between therapy and coaching, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So therapy, it's generally when you have some kind of mental health challenge, maybe a diagnosis or something that's going on. And we will often look at the past, or we go into stuff that might feel heavier or stuck in your body. And it's getting you to a more functional, it could be optimal place, but sort of resolving some of those things. Whereas coaching is really present and future oriented. So it's not diving into real mental health challenges or diagnoses or anything like that. And so anyone that I work with in a coaching capacity, if some stuff comes up, I will refer to another therapist for. It's really important to have those separate.
Yeah.
Now, if someone comes to me for therapy,
Yeah.
we might work on blockages like we would do in a coaching session. But again, it's kind of more focused in on the mental, emotional, maybe trauma or, those kinds of things.
Yes. Thank you for the clarification for those who don't know, because I think it's a
Yeah.
lot of times they don't know. And then that's wonderful that you pose the question on right there on your website and you answer that question there too. So that's really, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you again.
Yeah. The
Um,
more the more clarity that there
mm,
can be, the more
mm,
transparent. I have my fees on my website. I have everything on my website. And so
yes. Yeah.
then, it's really important to be honest and transparent.
Yes, yeah, I was about to say that clarity is really, really, really important in everything. And
Mm,
wow, that's a tough one sometimes in relationships, right? To be 100% transparent and say everything, and then you get yourself in trouble pretty quickly.
right.
So
Right. And And it's not always important to share every thought that you
Right.
have, you know?
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're lying. It's like because we all have random thoughts and we all have things that maybe
Right.
your partner doesn't need to know about.
Right.
Um, and honesty and transparency is crucial in relationships.
Yes, right. Yeah, I love the observation too about, we don't have to share everything because sometimes they're not even clear to us, right? Those thoughts, what
Yeah.
they mean. So if it's not clear to you, why are you sharing that with other people? That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And your partner doesn't need to know your whole process about something,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, until you get to clarity. Right, right.
Right.
That's more like hiring a coach or a therapist would really help someone
Yeah.
like you to
Yeah.
lead to that place. So you also offer programs, retreats, workshops, and a free phone conversations for those interested.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything, Loi, about your services?
Um, gosh,
Programs?
I maybe, but we've talked quite a bit, and you're so easy to talk to. I could talk for
Oh
for
my
quite a
God.
bit longer. But I know, I know we have to wrap up.
Yes, yeah.
So anyone who has any questions can always go check out my website or contact me.
Yes, which is wonderful. I have it here. What I meant with that question was, did I miss anything about your services? Is
Oh, let's see. I don't think so.
No, they're all here. Therapy coaching programs, retreats, workshops, and a free phone conversation for anyone interested.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, I'm always happy to well, I guess there's this. I'm always happy to consult with people or organizations if
Mm,
they need that, and I can come in and speak as well.
yeah.
Um, but besides that, I think that's it.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I want to mention the website. So drlloyd.com. It will be on the podcast notes. It will be clickable. And I want to mention that I really, really loved the gratitude page on your website. The
Ah,
way I love that. I just mentioned here, I'm deeply grateful to my courageous clients who trust this process, who allowed
yeah,
me to guide them back towards their authentic whole selves and forward towards their goals. I mean, I just love the intention there. This, you just dedicated the whole like page. You have that, clearly called gratitude. So thank you for that too.
yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
and I feel that. I mean, I feel deeply honored. Everyone who comes to see me, they're so vulnerable,
Mm,
and
yeah,
and it's not an equal exchange exactly, right? I'm not sharing all of my things,
right.
and I get to hold that space and
Mm,
to be with them on their journey, and then on the rest of the gratitude page is what my clients have shared with me,
right,
which also it fills my heart and
right.
makes me feel really grateful that I'm able to do this work and to help people in this way.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for
Mm,
trusting
thank
life,
you.
trusting yourself, and giving yourself to humanity the way you do, because we
Mhm.
we have no idea how the impact that we make just by changing ourselves, let alone making some changes, healthy changes in anyone's lives. So it's
Yeah,
huge. Thank you so much, Lloyd, for your
yeah,
beautiful
I
work.
love how that ripples out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it really
Thank
does.
you. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah, we'll talk again. Take good care and bye for now. Mahalo. Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Dr. Loi and her work, please visit drloi.com.